You can actually see that this is pretty a diverse group of people. I mean, yes, we're all women, but we're all different. And we have different needs, we value different things. We're all individuals. And if you look at the products that you're surrounded with on a daily basis, your phone, your car, your clothes, all the stuff that you use or look at in your home decor, it's all mass-produced. And it's great because we have all that stuff, but mass-produced goods have lost a little bit of that personal meaning. It doesn't give us the personal expression that we want. So what if we could live in a world where you could get the things you really want instead of buy what's available? And that's exactly what Shapeways is about. Our mission is to get people the things they really want instead of what's available. And how do we do that? Where am I? Yes. How do we do that? We use 3D printers. Big, industrial-sized 3D printers. And we can make anything that you like to have. Reproduce single goods for you on an everyday basis. Thousands and thousands of them. And we do that not only in plastics, but we make products for you, designed by you, in many different materials. From the silver sterling necklace that I'm wearing and the ring that I made myself, to houseware for ceramics that you want to have, to anything for your hobby or your iPhone case, beautiful lighting. Really, your imagination is your limitation with 3D printing. You can get what you want and what you value. So what does it really mean? What do we do? What is it exactly what we do? Basically, when you have a product idea, you draw it in 3D, you upload that drawing to Shapeways, and we 3D print it for you. You tell us which material you want to have it, you choose it, you pick it, we print it, we make it for you, we ship it to your home. You don't have to buy 10,000 pieces, you can make just one, the one that you want. And really, your imagination is your limitation. And what do I mean with that? Well, I want to tell you, I want to share a little bit of a story with you of one of our customers. It's 4-year-old Kira. And Kira had been talking to her parents for months now that she wanted to have a submarine duck. And her parents are like, submarine duck? What is a submarine duck? There is no submarine duck on Dora the Explorer or any of the Disney princessy things that are out there. But she was really passionate about her submarine duck. Oh, wait, I want to go back. Yeah. So one night, her father sits her down and she says, make a drawing on the computer. And she did it. So this is exactly what she drew. This is what she thought a submarine duck was like. Okay, so our dad fixed the model up. And he says, you know what, you can have your submarine duck because I'm going to go online. I fix the actual model for you. And we have it printed with Shapeways. So your imagination is your limitation. And I think the expression on this girl's face gives you exactly the reason what the magic of Shapeways is about when you make an actual connection with the product that you buy. So what more do we do? What if you can't 3D model? There's quite a few of us out there, probably. Well, you can still go online and make a connection with one of the 11,000 shop owners on Shapeways. These are people, these are product entrepreneurs, and anybody can now be a product entrepreneur who sell their designs on Shapeways. And they listen to you, and they make for you what you want. It's a really simple model again. They make a drawing for you, they upload the design, they set their price, they offer it for sale, and anytime their products are sold, they make a margin and a markup, and they have happy customers. And right now, this year alone, our over 11,000 sellers are making more than $1 million in markup pure for themselves this year alone. And it's rapidly growing. So what does it mean to be a seller on Shapeways? Why is that so powerful? Well, one of the reasons why it is so powerful is that if you're a product entrepreneur, if you want to put something in the market, you don't have to call China and have a mold made and invest in 10,000 pieces of inventory. You don't have to do market research to validate the demand. No, you can make a design, focus on what you're good at, make a beautiful product, and you can put it online and start selling immediately. Just sit on your couch, tweet about it, update your Facebook page, update your Facebook status, and that's it. Time to market goes down from months to hours. But not only that, you can make money with zero risk and zero startup cost because you're not investing in that mold. You don't have to do vendor relations and negotiations. You don't have to, buy a machine or anything else. Shapeways takes away all the hassle. No website building, no customer service. We do the supply chain as customer service, as Shapeways. We do all of the manufacturing. You can do what you're good at. And that's what Michiel Cornelissen did. He's a Dutch guy, and he made an iPad foot. And he made over $30,000 selling that. And his investment? Nothing. Just a little bit of sweat equity. Another great story of a product that is made on Shapeways was the Rocket Cup by Craig Kaplan. Craig is a math professor, and he was teaching his students about parabolas. So they had to design something in 3D which had that shape. So he came up with the actual Rocket Cup, and somehow it was picked up online. The product went viral. We were printing them like crazy. And now, Craig is not only a math professor and a successful seller on Shapeways, but he's actually selling his goods now through Fred and Friends. So what does this really mean, what Shapeways is doing? We basically put the power back of the product design to the actual consumer. Every product on our website has a personal connection with the person who bought it. And what we do at Shapeways, we provide a physical and a digital platform where product entrepreneurs can be successful, make a meaningful connection with their customers, and the customers can get the things that they really want. Thank you.
And now we will bring up, you can have a seat, and I will bring up Shaherose to lead the Fireside Chat. And I want to point out, she has changed her eyewear. Yes, you can applaud her, because apparently the future is very bright.
Right.
Oh, that deserved more than that. Come on.
So I got these glasses from Megan Smith in the back, and she said, the future is bright. And I just thought that was the smartest thing she'd said all day. All right, so how you guys doing? I don't know about you, but I am pumped to hear what Marleen has to say. So I have a few Fireside Chat questions here for her. So one of my favorite people in the world, Obama. Not too long ago, in his February State of the Union speech, he said, manufacturing, the future of manufacturing is going to be revolutionized by 3D printing. And I thought, wow, Obama's behind this. This is awesome. And then I thought, and I stepped back, and I was like, Obama was behind electric cars, he was behind solar. I love Obama as a leader, but I don't know if I like him as a businessman. So I looked at Marleen and I say, what do we really mean when we say that 3D printing is the future of manufacturing? Or is this just another hype industry? So tell us what you really think, what that means when we say that 3D printing is the future.
Well, I mean, first of all, I'm super happy that in mainstream media and everywhere in the world, there's a lot of attention now for 3D printing. And I think the reason why, actually, is that with 3D printing, you can combine two important things. Think about the time before the Industrial Revolution, before there was mass manufacturing. Everything that was made on demand. So it was completely adapted to your needs and what you needed and what you wanted. But the drawback of that period in time was that it was expensive, could be expensive, but most of all the big drawback was scale and therefore cost. And what 3D printing basically does is give everybody the thing that they really want, so it makes a connection with the actual product. You can choose what you want exactly to your likings, but with 3D printing you can mass produce individualized goods. So you have the scale, you have the affordability, but you have the choice too.
Awesome. So when you think about a printer, right, you think of this big machine, you think of cartridges. And the business of the printer 1.0 really was that of give away the hardware for free and charge people for cartridges. So is that what we're seeing of your 3D printing business model, or is it totally different?
Well, at Shapeways, I mean, we don't sell printers, of course. We sell the service. We use, I mean, the big machine that you just saw up there was a big industrialized machine, and the price of those machines ranges anywhere from $70,000 to over $1 million when you start thinking about metal printing.
So I won't be buying one of those?
No. Well, I don't know your financial means, but I won't be buying one either. But what they do is they really provide a high quality end product, and that's how we, that's what we do. So you can really get a beautiful end product. I mean, there's desktop printers out there that are really affordable, and they use ABS plastic, and you can make really great things with them. Mm-hmm. But it's just, it's a different angle.
Awesome.
We are really a service business.
Got it. So people plug into your system, get what they want,
yeah,
pay for it, and walk away.
And they basically only have to pay for the actual product that they use, and that's it. No investment needed.
So what are some of the top products coming out of Shapeways?
Well, that's a great thing. I mean, what are the top products? I can tell about top categories.
Sure, yeah.
Because basically, most of the things that we make at Shapeways are really only made once. It's all unique pieces. But if you look at top categories, we sell a lot of jewelry, because we do beautiful sterling, gold-plated brass, things like that, all kind of metals. So jewelry, houseware is very popular. We also have a lot of hobbyists on our, that are active on our website. So people who make scale models for trains or cars, boats. People make parts to build flying drones. I mean, it's all the way out there.
Awesome. So in my opening talk, I talked about how manufacturing, the supply chain, distribution centers are really going to be shaken up by you and your company. So when we talked on the phone, you explained to me that distribution centers will be no longer. There will be no place holding inventory per se, and the supply chain is now different. So just for the audience, sort of paint a picture of what sort of supply chain looks like now with you in the picture.
Yeah, so if you look at what supply chains normally are like, is you have a factory on the one hand, and you have lots of factories. And then somewhere in the middle of this country and in other countries of the world, there's big warehouses that basically have a lot of inventory that stock all these products from these different factories, and then the products get distributed from these warehouses to either the consumers or let's say the brick and mortar stores in this world. And what you see with 3D printing is we don't have inventory. The only inventory that we have at Shapeways is of 3D models on our servers. And only when somebody buys, we start making it. So we don't have inventory of finished goods, which means that we have factories at different locations in the world close by to where the customers are, and that's where we ship from. So that whole model of big warehouses with huge giant stocks, I mean, that just disappears.
So what does that mean for jobs?
Well, there's going to be a lot of 3D printing jobs. Mm-hmm. We're hiring. And What does it mean? What does more mean?
So tell me about the people who are working in the manufacturing plants, and now you're telling me they're going to be no longer. They've already been displaced, by the way, by outsourcing, getting products made in China, for example. But now it's happening even more. So what are you banking on in saying that it's whose jobs are being really created at this point? Like, are those people going to get a different job, or does it mean that there's a different set of skills that they need to get now?
Well, what you see with 3D printing is there's a real logic to produce the actual products close to where the consumers are. First of all, because the actual distribution cost in the total cost of production is significant. So it wouldn't be wise to start producing in Asia. And secondly, because you want to have that really quick interaction between the customer and the person who makes the design. So what you see is that we have built a factory here in Long Island City in Queens, in New York. So we're actually creating jobs here in America. And we grow really, really fast as a company, and we keep on adding manufacturing jobs as we grow. Mm-hmm. So those jobs that were originally outsourced to Asia, 3D printing is bringing those back to America.
Excellent. So do you have a sense of how many more jobs you have created to the date?
Well, we're now at 100 people.
Okay.
So, and that's just the beginning. I mean, 3D printing is at the beginning of a very big era. If you look at if I look at our own growth, mm-hmm. I mean, it's going super fast. Mm-hmm. If you look at the predictions, there's reports out there that say that 3D printing will be an over $500 billion industry in 10 years' time, with the majority of that actually being in the consumer market. So, and that's worldwide. If only the USA has 20% of that and all of that is produced locally, then, well, you can count how many jobs that's going to be.
So, keeping on the topic of jobs, we talked about how some of the jobs that went away to China, Taiwan, Korea, coming back, right here, you said in Long Island, where was it?
Long Island City,
Long
Queens.
Island City in Queens. When we were talking, you also mentioned that it's also driving a new wave of entrepreneurs and designers who now have an opportunity to be creative and also be business people. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, well, there's a really beautiful analogy with the rise of the internet. If you were a software entrepreneur back in the early 90s and you built some really beautiful code and you wanted to sell that, then you would have to find a distributor, a manufacturer and a distributor to actually produce floppy disks for you. Does anybody know what that still is? And
floppy disks were never floppy.
Yeah, when they were floppy. But the thing is, you had to find a retail channel to sell them. And if you'd have a bug in your software, somehow you would need to find those customers who actually had those floppy disks in their house. So it was a really arduous process. And I think that also, that's why there were so few software entrepreneurs, and the ones that were there were the really big ones. With the rise of the internet, you saw actually that the amount of software entrepreneurs proliferated because it was cheap. You can easily get to your customers. So, Facebook, Twitter, the social media. I mean, the amount of apps in the various app stores. I mean, it's huge, and it's become really easy. And what we're doing is a great analogy in 3D printing. Is we're enabling product entrepreneurs, people who are really good at designing beautiful products. We're enabling them to start their businesses because we provide that physical platform where they can focus on making beautiful products instead of having to worry about finding a retail channel, doing vendor negotiations, investing $100,000 in expensive equipment and all of that.
Got it. Excellent. That's exciting. So for many of these people in the room, are there any hardware engineers in the room? Right, so the rest of you are software engineers, software designers, right? Yeah, okay, so we're very familiar with how to build software startup, right? So the typical analogy that comes out from Silicon Valley is we need a hacker, a hustler, and a hipster, really the designer, right? Clearly that's not what we need to build a 3D printing company. Can you talk to me about one, your co-founding team, like what were the skills at the founding team level, and then who did you hire subsequently to build out the team, sort of in fashion of like, you know, each phase of the company?
Yeah, what you saw with Shapeways is that we basically combine, you know, on one hand, we're a tech startup, and on the other hand, we really have a traditional business because we manufacture, we actually, you know, bring goods to people's homes, and you need to do something for that. You know, it's not, you know, 3D printing is magical, but it's not wizard. Well, and so if you look at the founding team, we have, on the one hand, we had Pete and Robert, who both had a startup background and in the tech scene back in the Netherlands. And they know how to code, you know, they knew how to build websites, they knew how to do all of that. I came in with a lot more of the traditional background, knowing how to do customer service, supply chain management, logistics, but also I had a strategic and a financial background because I had a dual background. So where my co-founders really focused on the more tech side of the company, I basically built out the whole more operational side of it all.
Mm-hmm. And talk to me about why that's important. Like with your company, you know, more important from a manufacturing perspective.
Well, you need to get stuff out the door. I mean, you can build a beautiful website and you can make we had to invest a lot in software to actually check the models and see if they're printable and all of that. I mean, we had to overcome a lot of big challenges to get that going. But once you put your website live and people start ordering, I mean, you better deliver. You cannot break the promise that you make to the customer. So you have to make sure that you have your printers ready. You have your printers ready to roll.
Right.
And all of the backup systems to administer all of that.
So you had the three of you, and then tell me, what were the skills of the people you hired next?
Well, basically at Shapeways we have a very diverse team. With people from all over the world, with people with with backgrounds in very different industries. So besides the hustler and the hipster and all that, we have community managers, we have marketeers, but we have electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, a lot of industrial engineers like myself at Shapeways, and a couple of MBAs just to make sure that we cover the whole spectrum of what we need to do.
Awesome. So you touched a little bit about one of the stats you mentioned that in about 10 years, we're looking at having, certain things, the speed of 3D printing reach a peak. What do you think? I mean, software followed Moore's law, right?
Yeah.
So what's the law for 3D printing? Does it have its own law?
Well, you can't really apply Moore's law to 3D printing. I don't see that. But what you do see is we're really only scratching the surface right now. To a certain, your imagination is your limitation right now, but what you see is that in the near future, we will be printing multi-material products. And there is research going on, and there's already, in labs, there's already products being printed that have conductive elements. Mm-hmm. So at a certain moment in time, you will see that you can start printing devices, simple devices in the beginning, but there will be functioning devices at a certain moment of time. Once you get to a level where you can really start, atomic layer depositioning, that's still pretty far out there. Mm-hmm. But if you look at a little bit of a higher level, if you can do multi-material printing, then you can, if you really go on a really detailed level, you can start creating materials in a way, because you can then start defining the properties of the material by printing it, by mixing different components in such a way that you get a new type of application or material. So devices, creating materials while printing, those are things that will start happening in the next 10 years, definitely.
Awesome. It's really exciting. My last question before we are going to kick over to the audience. What's the largest, craziest thing you guys have printed?
Oh, do we have the Dita Von Teese dress here? She's very petite, but
I don't know if you brought the image. I'm not sure.
Yeah. We made a really beautiful dress for Dita Von Teese. It was, you know, beautiful black dress, beautiful gown, offset with crystals in the end. That was really, really gorgeous. Looked very, you know, beautiful on her. Yeah, it's, you know.
How much did it weigh? How much did it weigh?
Oh, a few kilograms, definitely.
Okay.
It was it's pretty big. Mostly, I mean, the printers that we use, they go like, you know, the biggest printer that we have has a platform like this. So, you know, kind of like a flat screen TV.
Got it.
A small one nowadays.
Got it.
So.
So how soon before you think we're going to print cars?
You know, if you think about printing cars, I think what you will see, you know, 3D printing is already used in the car industry, not only for prototypes, but also for parts in the car that are very complex and are not, that you cannot produce in any other way than 3D printing. I think, you know, printing a whole car, if you look at the economies of scale, you will probably see a combination where you have parts that are mass produced and parts that are 3D printed. Just printing the car per se, I don't see logic there yet.
Until we fly in cars. Awesome. Thank you so much, Marleen,
Yeah,
for coming in.
you're welcome.